and welcome to the 84th edition of Marex Maritime News. The headlines on Monday, the 20th of September 2021. Abandoned and unpaid since November 2020, Estibeiro in Romania provides bleak video testimony. IMO sponsors women from developing countries to take part in the first Maritime CEO Leadership Accelerator Program. As global container shortage continues, what challenges are MSME exporters facing? Is freezing rates the answer to get some respite from skyrocketing container freight? Expert report on oil and gas markets. The stranded Panamanian flagged MV Estibeiro, who have been abandoned and detained alongside Constanța port in Romania since 30th November 2020, without wage payment and suffering challenging conditions on board, have provided Human Rights at Sea (HRAS) with an updated video testimony as to their position, which amounts to a bleak outlook. HRAS has consistently advocated for the public identification of abusers of seafarers, including those owners who manipulate crew, fail to pay wages, and introduce threats of the use or misuse of the legal system against them, said a spokesperson from HRAS. In the latest video, Captain Abdullah Daha, the master of the vessel, again laid out their challenges in securing all the wages they are owed, their poor living conditions on board, and highlighted the local voluntary support which is keeping them supplied with food, water and electricity. Supported by the local ITF inspector and an instructed local lawyer, backed by the ITF seafarer team in London, the crew continued to wait for a legal solution to their case with real concerns as to their well-being as the months pass and the winter conditions approach. In maritime, as it is with other sectors, the higher you climb, the fewer women you see in leadership positions. You cannot be what you cannot see. We need more women leaders, more role models, and more importantly, our industry needs more capable women in the captain's seat. As part of its ongoing support to gender diversity in the maritime sector, the International Maritime Organization (IMO) will sponsor a number of women from developing countries to follow a new maritime leadership program curated by Maritime CEO.
Greetings from Maritime CEO. We have some exciting news to share with you today. The IMO's Women in Maritime program is supporting 20 women across the globe to undertake the first ever Maritime CEO Leadership Accelerator program. This in keeping with its commitment to empowering women in the maritime industry. The leadership program begins the end of October 2021 and we're looking for you. So if you're a woman in the maritime industry, apply today. Come and be a maritime CEO. But if you're a corporate and looking at supporting diversity within the maritime industry, write to us to know how you can support us in mobilizing mechanisms that fuel and inspire female leadership within our industry. Come join us as we drive change within the industry.
The international shortage of shipping containers is having an impact on micro, small and medium exporters, with freight rates jumping over 350 to 400% in the past year for key locations, including the US, Europe, Latin America and Africa. According to experts, a combination of factors as a result of the pandemic has led to a shortage of available containers for exporters, including MSMEs. Amid COVID, the volume of shipping vessels in operation was also likely reduced, that had led to a lesser number of containers available, while a larger set of containers had remained at inland depots and stuck at ports such as in the US and China.
Container shortage is in fact hitting the MSME very adversely. MSMEs are not in a position to supply the goods in time. Most of the buyers are of course understanding, but some of the buyers are threatening them with the dire consequences and forcing them to execute as per the term of the contract. We also have seen that in many of the cases, because of the shortage of containers, MSMEs are supposed to retain the goods at the factory, which is causing a problem not only of the inventory management but of the liquidity. The fact of the matter is that even if you are getting the containers, the containers are not put in the ship in one go. So if you are getting 24 containers, it is sailing in 3 different voyages, which is delaying the payment for the exporters also. And in all, it has created a huge inventory and liquidity problem. MSMEs are now required to borrow for a longer period because the entire cycle of export has been delayed, which is definitely having a bearing on their liquidity cost also. If they have to borrow instead of, let us say, 3 to 5 months, now they are borrowing for, let us say, 8 to 12 months. This is having a huge impact on the Indian MSME because of the container shortage and related issues.
The recent rate freeze announced by CMA CGM and Hapag-Lloyd has given shippers a hope that more carriers will follow the suit, and market sources expect some relief from the skyrocketing container freight might emerge in near term. Industry participants believe that price freeze will result in the influx of the new customers for the two carriers, and other companies may follow suit to retain their market shares and stay in the game.
Some relief to the shippers finally, with CMA, CGM and Hapag-Lloyd announcing a freeze on the already skyrocketing rates. To what extent these rates are going to help some of the low value cargo shippers is yet to be seen. As it is, they are impacted so badly that they are not able to ship their goods. It is not viable for them to ship at such exorbitant rates. These rates are likely to prevail for a while because what the indications are that only by early 2022 or mid 2022 situation is likely to improve when the new tonnage comes. But in case the COVID situation improves, the China opens up and the US ports start working to full efficiency, container shortage will decrease, and that may see a little more relaxation in the freight rates, and these frozen rates may come down slightly more. Whether other lines will follow, it is yet to be seen, but I'm sure everybody would, because everybody wants their pie of the cake and nobody would like to have their slots vacant. Probably the heat is being felt by the low value good cargo, and there are a lot of dedicated customers who still enjoy a better freight rate.
Now, our oil and gas market report direct from the expert.
I was recently browsing through a few international reports on oil and gas. The report from International Energy Agency IEA, the McKinsey report on oil and gas market, and of course the other report which I normally have a look at is the expert market research report. They cover oil and gas quite well. What we can observe having gone through these reports is that we are at a transition stage. Many interesting things are happening around. EVs are becoming more popular. This also affects the oil and gas market in a way. The prevailing situations do send a signal to the oil and gas market, certainly to be more resilient and stronger to face the strong headwinds for the industry ahead. If you look around, some of the prominent oil and gas companies have adopted for hedging for the situations for the future. Some other oil and gas companies have shifted their focus to be more cost effective. Certainly they got to be. This aims to increase the cash flow for the uncertain times ahead. A few experts also believe that the oil and gas market must buffer against the sustained volatilities. The marketplace is full of those. The upstream market has its own difficulties and challenges, as the downstream market has. The downstream market is also facing today increased societal pressures and regulatory issues. The environmental, social, and governance, collectively called as ESG issues, and the guidelines they bring out for the downstream in particular and the petrochemicals are yet another set of imperatives posing serious challenges for the oil and gas market worldwide. As per the EMR, that is Expert Market Research Report, they have indicated a CAGR of 4.7%, which seems to be fairly okay under the given situations. Well, the major drivers for the oil and gas industry, to name a few of them, are the rising disposable income, which definitely is contributed by the growing economies. Increasing population, in a way it is a challenge, but yes, it is also driving the oil and gas market because it increases the energy demand world over. Increasing adoption of non-conventional exploratory method. The E&P sector is always using new researches, and thereby they are applying and implying various exploratory methods which are technology driven, and that is also affecting the oil and gas market. They also use separators on site, whether it's onshore or offshore, and that is also affecting the oil and gas market in a good way.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for watching. See you next Monday.